EU LCS post-game lobby after week 7 of the spring split, where I am joined by Trevor Quickshot Henry and G2's mid laner Perks. Welcome, gentlemen. Just as a note, for if you're watching the fish, will also be joining us in just a second. But first, we're going to kick off the discussion. Are you sure you want him on the show?
He's the brains of the operation. I'm the looks of the operation, so we need him here. Because you can't carry the brains part, Perks.
You can already hear him yelling. But let's see. Let's take a look at the standings and the race for playoffs, how it is looking. That battle for first place is heating up. G2 just secured a win over Giants, but is still not in reach of Fnatic. Fnatic is still #1. And Splice is actually moving up in the standings as well, Trevor.
It's quite a surprise. I didn't really buy into the Splice hype, especially after seeing how they started the split. But over the last couple of weeks, definitely showing improvements. They're showing communication together. I mean, Kissing, best support in the West. We saw it
clearly.
today. Euphoria taught me that. And I want to see where they can end, because they are one game behind G2. So, like, it's scary to think there's two guys that could possibly tie and maybe even overtake G2 Esports.
What do you think of Splice's rise? They're 2-0 weak, Perks.
I mean, I'm pretty impressed with them. Like, when they first started, like, they looked really bad. I mean, we looked too. Like, we still are. But I didn't see anything what they had in the lineup. Only player that I thought was really good was Kobe. I thought he was, like, really, really good. But the rest are, like, meh. So I'm surprised that they're, like, so good. Maybe they're just learning the game again.
Right?
Yeah, it's improvement, yeah.
They look like a team now.
Yeah, I think they're playing really well as a team right now. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it seems that they find a system that works for them and champions that work for them, and the first 2-0 week. You say they were bad, we were bad, we're still bad. Where's that coming from? You just won a game, it wasn't that easy. You don't feel content with your play?
I mean, like, when I played the game, we're not really sure how to play, like, on good tempo. And we are just not sure of, especially, like, I think we were, like, pretty okay last patch, but this new patch, it feels like we just lost, like, how to play the game. We just got lost.
Is it just that you guys suck against Galio? Because, like, yesterday and today, you really had some struggles against
maybe,
Galio.
yeah, like, it could be that too, but I also think it's, like, not only, like, our early game struggle, maybe, yeah, but our mid game is, like, horrible. Like, it's beyond horrible. Us, like, playing with waves and stuff, like, it's really bad. Like, that's all. We're gonna fix it, and I feel like the new patch, we are kind of just making, like, we are playing so bad, but we're making an excuse that it's just the patch, but we are actually just playing so bad. That's how I feel, and that's, I think, how my teammates feel as well. And we are, like, working on it. We are talking about it. Like, no one is depressed, no one is stressed. Like, we are just, like, working it out. I mean, and yeah, I trust in the process. Yeah,
that's refreshing to hear that. We hear it from a lot of managers we speak to and coaches and players. It is the patch, we haven't adapted, but I like that you also say, well, yeah, and we're playing bad, so we basically have to pick up
it's really, like, not much about the patch. Like,
there is one small solace that you can take. The loss yesterday was not your fault. It was a caster curse. Every single caster predicted G2 would win, and, you know, it is real. We have that power.
Okay.
The rest of it I'll accept, but yesterday...
Then I'm really, like, mad at you guys right now.
Okay, perfect.
That is really not cool.
Before we move on from standings, I do want to give some praise to teams we don't necessarily talk about too much. Today, H2K had a phenomenal win, and they are at the bottom of the table. But I feel like today they gave a signal of, hey, we are still in the race. We are not out of there. We can beat Misfits.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely, like, every team is in the race, apparently. This is actually really exciting for me to see the standings. For example, I would not expect Schalke to be there. For H2K, I could kind of expect them to be, like, last or something, because there is just, like, a lot of decent teams in the LCS. And it's, for me, personally, it's so entertaining to see who's going to actually make it to playoffs, because you cannot guess right now. Like, Schalke can still pull it back together. It's hard for them because they're playing us. So that's a one loss.
Is it entertaining because you're on top? So
yeah, for sure. Like, if I was like on the bottom half, like, I would be so stressed. Like, I would be like, please just make it to playoffs at least. But right now, it's like, I mean, we can still just lose 4 games in a row and still be on, like, on the edge, you know. So I'm not content, but it's fun to watch. Yeah. Like, it is fun to follow LCS. I have to admit that.
It is. How about before we move on, the bye race, a place for the quarterfinal bye? Do you really want that one, or do you think, well, it's fine. We have to beat every team regardless
Well,
of playoffs.
personally, I've always wanted to buy because I just liked to see other teams sweat a bit in quarterfinals. And last year I was the one sweating in quarterfinals, and it was my first quarterfinals, and I was like really
There's
stressed.
5 games too.
Oh, yeah.
I really didn't want to lose, and I was playing bad. And after that, I have like experienced myself playing bad in best of 5 and still winning and beating the quarterfinals, like stress or how you want to call it. Like I'm fine playing quarterfinals. I would really like the buy. Everyone would like the buy, right? I'm not gonna lie, but I think we can make the buy. Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Well, we're going to talk a lot more about playoffs and about the upcoming schedules of the teams in just a second. But first, here is Medic for a closer look at the Unicorns of Love's 5-game winning streak.
Thank you very much, Shocks. We need to talk about the Unicorns of Love. 1-8 to 6-8, a 5-game winning spree. And now the question on everyone's lips is, can they do the unthinkable? Can they make it to playoffs? No, I don't think they can. But imagine if they did. Imagine if this team of rejects, of outcasts, imagine if this team of Cold and Exile, of Samux and Sheepy took down the Titans, took down the Giants, and made it all the way to those quarterfinals. It would be amazing. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy because these Titans stand in their way. Perks and Caps, Hans Summer, and the god himself, Gilius. Mammoths before the Unicorns of Love. I'm not saying it's easy, but imagine if they did it. Imagine if they win and they make it to playoffs. Because if they do, they're the best team in the EU LCS.
A huge unicorn on the big screen. That's great. Thank you, Fisio, for joining us as well.
Why is this guy here? I'm not sure what just happened.
I'm here to hold your hand.
Like
Perk.
he's just
Please.
Well,
There we go. Now I'm here to support you because Trevor is mean. I'm the good guy.
fantastic. Love all around, and that's also what
Thank
the
you, thank
Unicorns of Love spread. And I love that you just joined us because you actually believed in the Unicorns of Love a bit before everyone else. You said they were the best 1-8 team. So what do you make of their 5-game winning streak and the fact that it seems to be coming true?
I like Cold a lot. I think he's really good, and he makes this team look really consistent early game. And I like Samux in late game fights now as well. So that's really good from Unicorns. Now, Cold did say in his interview, they've been beating all the bottom teams to get here.
Yep.
Now they still got to beat the top teams because they got, G2, Fnatic, Vitality, Misfits. So it is still a tough road for them, but they look like a top 6 team with the way they're playing right now.
Let me jump in for a second because this is a segment where we're going to take a look at exactly that. What is the upcoming schedule for some of the teams? That is all right. I was fixing it for you, but you had to jump in again. Here's the upcoming. So this is the standings as they are, and let's start by taking a look at the upcoming schedule for the Unicorns of Love on a 5-game win streak. But up on the slate for them is Vitality, Fnatic, G2, and Misfits. So right now I'm like, yes, they're going to make playoffs, but look at these opponents.
They could win every single one of those games.
Yes, they could.
G2 lost to Splice yesterday. Misfits lost to H2K today. Fnatic almost lost both of their games this weekend. And Unicorns are playing confident enough. This boy and the rest of those guys have not instilled enough confidence in me to say Unicorns are out.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Linga and Mr. Quickshot. Like, I think that Unicorns of Love can win every one of those games besides versus G2 Esports because that team is clearly like so good.
As we saw today.
As we saw today, we showed that we can scale to late game and win, and we showed that like in a banner meta, like how good we are. Honestly,
Fnatic showed that as well.
Tell me right now.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see the run, and even though it's going to be really difficult, there's no doubt about it, right? It is plausible that there is a world where UOL can go from 10th to 6th or 5th potentially.
Perks, are you surprised at this roster and what the Unicorns of Love, started the split with, that they're in this position now?
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that they just. I feels like they picked up Wagner. I don't know if he played before, like professionally. Top.
Season 3, baby.
Yeah, he's a high-low player. Yeah, he's very good, but I don't know if he started main top recently. That's how I feel at least. I'm not sure. And Cold, it was like a good player, but he's really leading this team. That's how I feel at least. And like he's like it's basically like what Linga said. Like he's just doing a lot of good stuff for the team. And even Exile is like stepping up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still like not performing very well, but compared to his last year performance, it's a lot better than that at least.
He steps up and he sits down.
Yeah, like
he does
he's
both
like,
things.
Yeah, he does a lot of things, I think. And Samux has actually been surprisingly consistent. Like maybe he just gets Tristana too often. I'm not sure. Like we should really not give people Tristana too often. And Totoro has been. I think Totoro and Cold have actually been so good together.
Do they make playoffs?
They make playoffs for sure. Like Unicorns make playoffs.
100%.
And yeah, like Totoro and Cold are just like smurfing right now. And they're like playing well around vision. They're ganking well. Like Cold is ganking a lot. Totoro has like his like int moments, but I think he's like playing really he's playing really well. There's probably a lot of language barrier. not a meme. It is true. And yeah, they will make playoffs.
They will make playoffs. Unicorns of Love. Can I go on further and say, in this moment in time, after week 7, are the Unicorns of Love the most consistent team in the LCS? What are you gonna put against me? G2 went 1-1.
Yep.
Fnatic
It's
went
true.
1-1.
I think it's a good.
Yeah.
I think it's a good quote. Yeah, I will agree with that.
I will agree with that. But you, of course, want to be the consistent team going.
I
into
mean,
playoffs.
yeah, well, of course, yeah.
All right, let's continue and look at the next team and the next strength of schedule. A highly discussed team, Schalke 04. They're in a pretty bad spot right now. They need to win their last 4 games to reach 9 wins, and we know 9 wins is kind of the magical number. It's very probable that you reach playoffs, but not certain if you get to that. But then they'd have to beat Giants, beat G2, beat H2K, and Fnatic. Now, my mind would easily say 2 losses, 2 wins, but it isn't that easy.
Can they make it like with 8 wins? Because they're not winning
know.
against
That
on
the other
like,
teams.
7 wins, it gets really tricky. There's probably some tiebreaker in there. I think there's a higher chance they lose the 4 next games than they make playoffs right now. Like they have G2 and Fnatic, they still need to play. We can't realistically expect Schalke to beat those teams. And I'm even scared when I look at H2K and Giants because they are at least as good as Schalke right now.
I mean, it's true. You see the way G2, Giants and H2K showed up this weekend. I was caught off guard a little bit. You know, Joko struggled a little bit yesterday. Today, of course, slightly stronger performance. They have the ability to adapt and grow. H2K taking down Misfits, nobody predicted that at all, right? That really surprised.
Yeah, that's true.
And when you look at Schalke and anybody who follows their Twitter account, there was some very harsh words, you know. The coaching team basically said this was utterly unacceptable, and they put the blame on themselves. The players didn't show up, and it's the coach's fault after
Who else could they blame? The other teams are being too good?
What do you make of that? That is something that I have not seen particularly, or I can't remember seeing in that way, kind of an anonymous coaching staff apology tweet, when there's still 2 weeks to go and when there's still 4 games to play. So for me, it's a bit strange. I think obviously it's in their right to do it, and I think they felt that they needed an explanation to the fans. But on the other hand, you're gonna have to turn it around on the Rift. So
I mean, for me, it feels kind of strange as well because there's still 2 weeks left, and it feels like it's just over. That's how it feels like. I mean, maybe it is, but like if you actually like thought you were a really good team, and if you're a really good team, you can replicate your scrim performance to stage. And you can, I mean, if that is the problem, if that is the issue, then you can do that, and you should not give up. Like, if you win all the 4 games, you're in playoffs, very likely. And it's kind of also, maybe they expected too much of themselves, because when Schalke got introduced into LCS, I thought it's a strong lineup, but I didn't think it would be like top 3 or something. Maybe like, I just thought they would be a playoff team. Like, that is what I expected of them, at least.
that's the whole thing here. Everyone kind of expected them to.
Yeah, 100%. I always find it a little bit weird when people say sorry for their performance. I'm like, I mean,
you should do it every single day.
Yeah. Nice. That's good. That's good. But I'm just like, I don't know what's there to be sorry, about. Like, you just ignore the fact that, nothing is working the way you want it to and just work hard to improve it. Like, don't go out and say sorry and everything is horrible and this is the end. Like, that's not necessary. I didn't say the last part, but I think you just say, you know what? We're working on this. We're going to try and fix it. And then they show up on the Rift. That's all they can do anyway. I think they can still, they're obviously going to try to make it. Luckily for them, there's no promotion tournament. Because the last time Schalke came into the LCS, they got relegated straight away. Not the case here. You do have a full, off season.
And then an entire summer split.
And then you have an entire summer split to obviously figure out if this is the correct roster and what was wrong.
Right? It's like Worlds is the goal for every team. Last year, Misfits made it very clear from the split. And while Schalke have not necessarily been super public about Worlds being the focus, we know backstage, we know with the coaching staff and the support staff, they're aiming for summer. They're aiming to grow, develop, and learn. I personally found the tweets and the messaging a little strange, but I like the fact that the coaching staff are trying to deflect some of the pressure from the team. I quite like the fact that they're trying to frame that a little bit.
Sure.
And if it is something that the players themselves appreciate and respect, maybe that's something that you can build, a little bit of trust internally, where the guys that in League of Legends esports, where coaches, generally speaking, can get a very free pass for theoretically and potentially not doing a lot, you've got a team that steps up and is trying to do some ownership.
So
yeah, I mean, that's fair.
If that is the intention, I like it. But as I say, it's just very unusual for us because we're not used to seeing that kind of thing.
I just wonder how it is now in the Schalke gaming house, because this must be the worst feeling ever. Like, if you're H2K, you probably didn't enter this split saying, oh, we for sure will be in playoffs, it's going to be easy. Like, they were pretty vocal about how they built this roster, so there might be less stress on them. But if you're Schalke, big football organization, built this roster, the moment they could actually sign players, they did, and they had everything set up to succeed, and then nothing seems to work on stage for you. I also, like, if you're a player on this team, you're scared because Summer Split is close, and
the jobs are
your job is on the line. Maybe they are going to replace someone because, oh, this one player simply doesn't work with this lineup, and that's the problem. Everyone starts getting really scared, and then trust is an issue.
It's true, and it's quite sad to see Schalke fail, because I know how much effort they put actually, and the players, they're all like now the players is just slacking or something. They're all working hard, and it's maybe just they're just not good enough. Then that is it. They have to work harder and get better, and not a single coach is gonna help them unless they learn themselves. So
so
yeah, that's my opinion.
Your opinion is that some of these key players should just get it together.
I think that players should learn to work with players, and they should be open about their problems. Coaching staff can enable that. They can push it and enable it. But if the problems are not solved, or they're not discussed, or they're not if you don't have clear communication, direct communication from player to player, and saying, okay, I think you should do this, or if you cannot say this to your teammate, then you just don't have a team where you can work on, unless the players that you got are already the absolute best in your position. You can have a super team in Europe, and every player knows what to do. But that is not the key. The thing with Schalke, they're all now these players wasn't a top team ever. I mean, Vichachi was, not ever in last 2 years, let's say.
Thank you.
I'm always a bit, but they have not been
to Worlds.
they have not been on a top team in the last 2 years, and they just don't know how the game is supposed to be played as a team. Maybe they have an idea, but they are not replicating it, and they're not playing together as a team. They're all good individual players. They all do very well on laning phase. They win it. They go equal at least. And then when it comes to mid-game, they are just lost. They don't know what to play for. They don't know how to play for. And that is just showing. And that is something that you learn and practice in scrims. And I kind of don't believe in this scrim translation to stage. I think that's just a meme. Me personally, I think so, because for us, we are not performing very well in scrims right now. It's our stage performance is complete reflection of scrim performance and our solo queue habits and us, how we are as a players. So that is something that they should look on and reflect and just try to improve yourself.
Wow, fantastic. So for me, I've reset my expectations. I was also definitely on the hype train. I love the project. I love everything they're doing at Schalke, and I still love everything they're doing. Maybe we got to kind of reset our expectations. Go, you know what, this roster, it's going to need a little more time. Unfortunately, that's not very easy for the players on that roster.
There's not that much time either.
Yeah, if you're someone that has to perform, that's not as easy. But is that a good compromise from our side then, the Fisho?
I mean, every team can say that, oh, we just need Summer Split. G2 just needs Summer Split to be clean, and that in the end, maybe they need more time, but you've had a couple of months now to improve as a lineup. They should now be able to identify some key problems, and then if they don't think they can solve those problems, well, then they have to change something within the lineup. I hope they stick with the project and say, we know how to deal with this, we know how to fix it. But it seems like there's a clear lack of shot calling in-game, which is why they have this big issue in the mid-game, and that is harder to fix maybe than other things if no one can actually see the map the right way.
The interesting thing is it's actually very true of a lot of teams on this table right now. The problems themselves, the flavor of the issue will change from lineup to lineup. But generally speaking, we're 7 weeks into the split, and we're still seeing some interesting decisions. I'll put it that way. It makes for some hell of a entertaining games, right? but it is a very different flavor. It's a very different split from what we've had for what feels like a long time in EU.
And that is why the standings are what
Yes.
they are and why we can't say for certain who will make it to playoffs and who won't. So it is really the case for all of these teams to step up in the next couple of weeks. For now, I want to move on to a very specific one. Team Vitality, let's take a look at their strength of schedule for the next couple of games. Their last games are against the Unicorns of Love, Roccat, Splice, and G2 Esports. So today, they came very close to beating Fnatic. They actually had it all in their hands.
I'm pretty sure they won that game, and they played another game which they lost then, because surely that game was over.
But they didn't. But because of the nature of their bounce back yesterday versus Schalke and the fact that I don't think they're completely destroyed, I feel like they're in a pretty good mental space going into the rest of the game's perks. What do you think?
I mean, I think Team Vitality is just pretty bad anyways. And they got really exposed on last patch, like when the people started to play the game with like some words and stuff. But right now, Tracker's knife removed, so maybe it's kind of like a buff for Gilius, if you want to say like that. It's kind of a meme, but he's playing really well this week again. Yeah. So it just depends how good teams become, because like Vitality has played well this week, but we have seen their mid game today against Fnatic. Like that game was over. The game was like Cups was straight up running it down mid, and they didn't end the game. So
but Perks Fnatic's early game was atrocious. So.
Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah. They
just need one win, though.
It's hard.
They need one win out of 4 games.
I think they'll make playoffs for sure. Like, for sure. Like, if it was played, if you would ask me last week, I would say they will not make playoffs because they were just looking so awful. But right now they're looking a lot better. So I think they will make playoffs for sure.
What will they do in best of fives? Sorry, just to...
What in best of fives?
How will Vitality perform in best of
I have
fives?
no idea. It's always like a kind of a mystery question when you see rookie teams. Like, for example, when I was in 3 years ago, we were doing very well in playoffs, and people were like, "How are they going to do in playoffs?" So maybe Vitality is going to do very well in playoffs as well. You just never know. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the roster, one of the things that we've not spoken a lot about because of how explosive the Vitality first few weeks were. You know, they went, what was it, 7-1 before they had the losing streak. This is a rookie squad, right? This is the majority of these teams. Yes, they've been playing together for a very long time, but this is their first split on the EU LCS stage. 4 of the 5 former Giants members, they played best of 5s in the Challenger Series, in the playoffs, in the promotion tournament. They were the first team to qualify. They have a track record of being good on stage. But this is still a rookie team. This is still a team that has to work through all these jitters, that has to deal with having this monumental lead and this monumental throw. There's a lot of these things that they still have to learn and get through under this high-pressure situation. I think they're likely to crumble. I think they're likely to break because I think there are a lot of high-intense emotional players on that team, and they are still a new-ish squad. Yes, there's experienced players, but as this 5-man unit, this is their first split.
We'll see.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying there's reasons why you can see these problems.
Sounds like excuses from here.
No, there's just reasons, right? and whenever you see these super teams that have huge winning streaks crumble and fail in playoffs, I mean, Vitality, the org, has done it themselves in the past.
But they might finally make playoffs again. They almost became the new Elements, where they kept getting 7th place and always started outside. 3
splits in a row they went 7th?
Yeah, yeah, I believe so.
This is a huge improvement.
It is.
Perks, who's the top 3 after the regular season? So after the end of week 9, before playoffs, who's top 3?
Well, okay, first, since Fnatic is 1 game ahead of us, Fnatic is probably going to be first. G2 is going to be second. And third, I was going to say it's Misfits Gaming. But right now, I think Splice just might give the spot.
It's a trap. You want to say Misfits third,
like Splice has been playing really well this week. They've been stepping up all the individual players as well. Feels like they're more comfortable.
Sorry to cut you off. Where did you put Splice on the Euphoria power rankings those weeks ago? Do you remember?
That was week 1.
I know. But where did you put them? Because they're now 4, aren't they?
Yes.
I think they've grown.
They're 3.
Are they 3 now?
They're
in standings, but I'm saying in the Euphoria power ranking.
The real standings.
They've gotten better and better, and that's why they're going to be.
We probably put them like.
We put them pretty low.
Like
we had them last week 2 when we had who was that? It was Yamato we had on there. He put them last. We put them last.
There we go.
I think Splice will end above G2. They will take their bye week. Splice's schedule is not hard at all. They've already won the games they needed to win to get the playoff spot. And G2 Esports today and yesterday, My God, that was
That was awful.
that was
just
some
think that
bad League of
I
Legends.
think they ban Galio and look better next week,
this-
personally, but we'll see.
This sounds like a bit of a wager. This sounds like a bit of a...
More bets now.
Yeah, why not? We can think about the specifics later, but I think you guys should work it out. The Fish Show says that Splice will end over G2 Esports. And
I heavily disagree.
And
I heavily disagree.
Do you know?
disagrees.
Yeah,
I'm
I heavily
surprised.
disagree.
Right? So we have this on record. We'll think of something for after week 9. What you guys
Like whenever the Fisher says that G2 wins, then G2 loses.
That's
And
true.
Whenever the Fisher
Oh, now I'm
bets
saying they're
against
gonna
G2,
lose.
then he's like,
away.
then G2 wins. So
Yeah.
It's true.
I have a good track record with that.
Damn.
Good stuff. We'll follow that up later. But with the race for playoffs and the fight for first place heating up, week 7 was packed with action. You guys took to Twitter to send in your LCS big plays. And here they are, brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Kasing really found his rhythm on Rakan versus G2, winning the bet he made with the Fish Show on the Euphoria podcast.
Against G2,
The
they beat them.
support was the main engage for his team as they secured the win after some explosive team fights.
Yeah.
Let's watch this.
Yeah, they did.
Flank is on here for Kasing. Does have the quickness as well. We'll look for the blast code across the
Kasing.
wall. Here he goes. There's the entrance. And here comes the Dog Squad onto the faces of G2. One's down. They're looking for 2 as well because Yankos is going to fall. Splice, show us how it's done.
Okay, can you go?
I have
go them.
I think you should go. I think can you go?
Go.
I'm using
At
redemption
me?
there.
Nice. Look at him.
Fuck Kaelin up.
Nice.
Go.
Guys, slowly, please. Slowly.
We need to wait.
No,
we need to wait.
we need to wait. Get to it. Go get to it.
And I have some good news for you. For anybody that does listen to the Euphoria podcast, there was a wager between Deficio and Kasing. And that wager, Deficio lost.
I am joined by not only the greatest support in the world, but also far and away the best looking support in the world. It is, of course, Kasing. The crowd agrees as well.
We just got the laugh. We don't need to hear any
True.
of his answers.
That was basically the interview right there.
Everyone loves that interview. You know, you're now the best interviewer in the ULCS, apparently. So
Thank you.
I think
Thank
the
you very
next
much.
time,
Apparently.
the next wager, the one you just talked about, G2 and Splice for 3rd. I know there's masks backstage. There's a Deficio mask that Perks could wear for somewhere, and I know that G2 have got that samurai mask
They
that
do, they
Deficio can
do.
wear. So just an idea, throwing it out there.
yeah, we could think about that. Well, another big play. We've seen many Baron steals so far this split, but one of the most surprising ones occurred yesterday in Fnatic versus Misfits. Fnatic looked to have everything under control, but Mickey X had other plans.
All Misfits, they're around. They know. They already pulled Trinket. They're coming now. Hylissang is behind.
Hylissang's trying to pull a Mickey, trying to disengage this fight. Mickey jumps in. Mickey steals the Baron somehow! How the hell did that happen?
I can flash in.
Can you
I can
bring
ulti on you, Rakan. Okay.
5k. Go on the carries.
I got it. I'm on Corki.
Go Corki.
We can. We can back up.
We
We
got the
got the Nash.
It's great stuff, but it's exactly why there isn't any consistency amongst the top teams like
That
Baron.
was
A lot
crazy.
of Baron
That was
throws
really
this
Yeah.
week.
crazy.
It
Like,
was
Mickey X is just too insane, honestly.
There you go.
There's nothing
He
Bros
knew.
that could do there. There's nothing. He gets charms and like he smites because he's panicked because he's charmed, and then Mickey X and then
Gets the Baron.
gets the
Beautiful.
Baron.
And speaking of Baron steals, one game that was filled with smite battles was Roccat versus Splice earlier today. Memento and Xerxes put on a big showdown, with the latter coming out on top in a deciding duel.
No, they're not in position to contest.
They're not, but they're going to teleport over the wall! Memento does it! He steals the Baron from Splice!
Can we get the ward there?
I can get pink here. I'm up in 10.
I think we look for what?
They want to fight. They want to fight, I think.
You look for steal? I'm looking to steal.
Hit Nasher.
I got
Nice. Back.
2 steals on 2 Barons. Will it be a 3rd in the same game? Xerxes in the pit. He does it! Are you kidding me? Splice steal the Baron, and they're looking to run down I cannot believe how many Baron steals we've had, and you guys all know how much I love my stats,
Yeah.
especially the very quick ones. There have been 22 Baron steals this split. Okay, we had 5 of them today, and in terms of the leaderboard, Xerxes has stolen 4 Barons, Memento, Broxer, and Maxlaw have stolen 3, then Shook's on 2. But my favorite stat, and I'm going to enjoy this one the most.
How many Gilias lost?
Do you want to know how many Vitality have lost? Take a guess. Throw a number at me. I'll give you a second. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 Barons has the #1 power-ranked jungler lost this split along with Vitality. Now, it's a team thing, of course.
And he also lost Elder Drake today.
He did. We don't actually have the stats tools to track Elder, but it was really funny to watch.
See, that's the thing. You could have added the Broxer one to this one and just gotten more smite steals.
Kicking someone when he's down. Perks, I don't know if you caught it yesterday. Gilius was a guest on the PGL, and we asked him to rank the junglers, and he was #1 on his own.
He was #1 again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On his own
I don't want to rank jungler based on smite stealing, though.
No, yeah,
There's so much more in the game than just smite stealing.
I did ask him what his power rankings would be. I just got a sad face emoji, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't have the answer right now.
But we think we can spar with him. Gilius likes to throw out some tweets and some...
Billy doesn't like to throw out the smite, though.
That was a good one, yeah.
Well, bombshell, we'll be back for more big plays next week as the spring split continues with Vitality versus the Unicorns of Love. And, you know, we could see a lot more objective skirmishes there. And G2 is going up against HUK on day 1, Schalke on day 2.
That's a 0-2 week.
That is a 0-2 week.
The other alternative, G2 could play Heartbreakers. Because the magic, you know, the potential comeback, the potential for those two squads, if G2 shut them down and go 2-0, then they're the bad guys.
Does Vitality beat Unicorns of Love in that first game of the day?
No.
No, Unicorns wins.
Why?
Unicorn is just like, UL cold is just cold.
The best.
He's just too cold.
Stone cold killer.
Yeah, like he's just too good.
What do we got? We got Unicorns, then we got...
Splice Misfits.
I don't know how that goes.
Nah, the first one is 50-50, man. That's hard.
Splice Misfits? Oof.
It's
I think
so
Misfits
tough.
wins. I think Misfits wins.
I gotta take Splice there if they're gonna make second place, you know?
Yeah, you wanna bet?
How much can you
How many bets can I make? I'm gonna make one for a podcast again this week.
How much can you change in a week on the same patch? You know, like we saw yesterday with the Bannon minions, they were game ending in 5 minutes. But over the next games and all of today, there's counterplay, there's ways to deal with it. The minion dematerializer was like relatively effective today. So it wasn't as OP as we felt. But I really want to see what the next evolution is, right? What other champion crawls out of the woodwork? Maybe Olaf we see more and more, for example, right? Olaf Sivir, and Fnatic can pull it out and put that together.
They can try, they can try. We saw Giants try the Olaf comp and looked pretty good until everything they did towards the end was just horrible
Until the
execution.
Victor scaled into late game. Until Victor reached the late game point, it was nominal.
When you lost your flash and you still were sitting just on tier and like 2 items completed, I'm like, the game is over.
I was telling my team, guys, we have late game.
It's like, if Giants is 5-man group mid there and just killed you on the tower, there was nothing you could do.
I mean, I made one mistake the game. Like, they were diving me mid, even though I could see it coming and I didn't call my team in time. So I died once. But other than that, like, if I just drop some turrets, like, so first of all, we got Herald, so they could actually like a mid turret.
Yeah.
We can, like, it's not like they will go 5 mid and I will just be alone there and...
No, I mean later. This was after the fight in mid. They've already taken Baron.
They know it's not the podcast.
No.
I'm just saying, there was a point...
Cameras for Euphoria.
I was like, this game is over because Giants have forced flash from Perks now. He's not strong at all. He's no defensive items. Literally just tower dive him in his base and they kill him, like this.
No, but you forgot that we have Korean support, so he's really smart. So he saves 3 of his stacks for Nash.
They didn't need banner at all. They could just kill you.
Okay, honestly, if that Caitlyn had a better mouse, we would have probably lost the game.
Thank
you. But that Caitlyn's mouse was really like shaking, like he was like playing and like he was getting hit by a Victor laser, auto-spaced by Victor laser in late game Caitlyn with fire cannon, just saying. And so like we could really easily stall the game out. But yeah, if Caitlyn had a better mouse, we would have probably lost the game. He could 1v9.
So you're blaming Steelback?
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm blaming all.
I'm blaming his peripherals. Like his mouse was not working good enough.
We know what Sven always said: you can't get hit by whatever.
You can't get hit by Victor laser if you're
It's that simple.
Well, this was fun. We went into the week not knowing what would happen in playoffs. We played a lot of games and we still don't know, so, well, there's nothing to do but to watch again next week because it is on for first place, for second place, for third place, all the way down to 10, but that is all from us here in
G2
week 7.
Esports for first place race, guys.
So far, and G2 Esports for first. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back next week for more battles in the EU LCS. See you then.
They're not in position to contest.
They're not, but they're going to teleport over the wall! Memento does it! He steals the Baron from Splice! Odoamne pieces out with the flash. The Nexus is the focus, and Splice go 2-0 on the week! Now going in 1v5. Where's the support? He's not going to be in time. Chachi's running away as the unstoppable onslaught comes in. Mr. Chachi's down. Bride's going to go low. Stretching strike connects and despite Nukta, an upset, hammering away on the back end. Their team is being destroyed. The Buster Shot, triple kill. Nexus is down, and Unicorns go 5-0.
Always makes it exciting. So here we go, folks. H2K versus Misfits Gaming. Selfie does manage to go golden and flash out to safety. The lockup, the knockdown. Undead Silent going to start to come through, but he just does not do enough damage. He's keeping healthy for so far. H2K, slow and steady is the start for Misfits, but when H2K show up, they explode into this game. The Barons coming together, and a clean finish over Misfits. Also the more caps. The flash, the hook, where's he go? He goes right into the tower. The perfect setup, the ignite. Oh, baby, bye. He has the pin and he's oh, God! The turn, the burn, getting ever lower. Who's actually going to take it? He's Are you kidding me? Keeps Fnatic in first place, the only 10-win team. Giants pull the trigger. They make it work. Hornets next on the menu. That's how you do it. Bye-bye, Yankos. Giants taking control. Can they get it? Jordan could just get taken down right here, but the Lockets are there to save the team. Joko does absolutely nothing. G2 Esports remind us today why they are a top team. Does not matter that their backs are against the wall. They will find the win here.